Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Today I want to talk about multiverses, parallel realities, and the axis of being a Melchizedek. Let us start by the idea or the concept that our Corona or rainbow bridge in every dimension has 7 chakras. For example, in the 3D, in my physical body, there are 7 locations where vortices are spinning or combining the Ida and Pingala, the Shushuma, and when they crisscross, they create a vortex, and that vortex becomes a chakra. And that rainbow bridge doesn't end at my 7th chakra. That pathway, it continues. It actually contains 2 forces, which we call it Ida and Pingala, but it really is Shiva coming down energy and Shakti, the mother energy, rising up. And they're combining, crisscrossing each other. It exists also in my 4th dimensional body, which is a more higher, more etheric, more energetic version of myself, similar to a Russian babushka, a Russian nested egg. It sits on top of me. So it begins at chakra 8 to chakra 15. Above that is a 5th dimensional chakra system. Again, the Shushuma continue to extend. It goes from chakra 16 to chakra 22. Then the next body, 6th dimensional chakra 23 to chakra 23 to chakra 29, then chakra 30 to chakra 36, etc., all the way back to God. That means that there is a version of me that exists in every higher dimension. More spiritual, more etheric, less dimensional, less connected to physical reality. As you go to the higher chakras, the higher dimension, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, it becomes less and less physical. Now, each dimension, a dimension is a direction in which an object can travel. One dimension is a dot. It means that I'm not traveling anywhere, I'm remaining in place. If I can travel forward and backward, then it's a 1 dimension. If I can forward perpendicular to that, forward and backward, and then sideways, I am in a plane. That's a 2-dimensional. If I had add to this height, that's 3-dimensional. But if I add to all 3 of them, the concept of time. For example, we use the example, like if I'm standing on the corner of 1st and Avenue and 2nd Street, in that corner, I could be standing in the corner and I have 3 spatial coordinates to describe where I'm located. I have the forward and backward, sideways, and I have also the height. But and the height can differ. I could be in a ladder. I could be on top of a light pole, or I could be underground in the subway. Right? The height can change. But having calculated all of this, but when was I in that corner? Was it yesterday? Was it sometime in the future? So the time dimension become a 4th dimensional thing. Every dimension involves the addition of some sort of way of defining myself in the volume of that the universe is in. Okay? And this is what we are learning to accept as we are traversing the transit into the new earth, is to add and understand 4D and 5D, to comprehend what it means like. And I'm going to give you an example. When a 3D object has a light on it, and the light creates a shadow, the shadow always presents itself on the surface as a 2-dimensional diagram. If I hold a cup in my hand and I push a light on the cup, the shadow it creates is always 2D. So scientists are postulating that 4D objects that or cast the 3D object that we see in 3D realities, like you, me, the car, etc., or actually the shadow of a 4D object. Now, having said this, let us for a moment, so dimensional realities, dimension, from our perspective, from our understanding, are connected to the Autocorona, and it has to do, or the Shoshoma, and it has to do with verticality, rising higher. But there is another part that we need to understand as well. And of course, if we rise all the way up, and we begin to be consciously aware of how big we are. For example, when we do a new version of the torsion field, the energy rises from the bottom of our feet, move upward, and it exits not just at the top of our 7th chakra, but it exits now in chakra 15, which is the top of our 4th dimensional body. Then as we attract the second guardian coming up from rotating in the opposite direction, coming down, it comes now in the 22nd chakra, which is the top of the 5th dimensional body. And it continues like this, adding each time 7 chakras until we become aware of how immense and how big we really are, not only in our central axis, but how wide we expand. So in the process, we are becoming more and more consciously immortal. Instead of being unconscious tendencies floating in emptiness, we are now becoming more and more aware of how big and how immense we really are. Now, having said this, let us for a moment put that aside. So when we are aware of how tall we are, all the way back to God, when the 15th dimension comes in, the last guardian, the 12th guardian comes in, we are completely aware, and each time they bring to us a shield of protection and neutrality. When we have anchored and grounded all of that knowledge, all of that understanding, we are now a perfect reflection of the celestial axis, which is the rod of creation of Melchizedek. It is the actual word of frequency. If you can see it as a scale in a musical sheet that has a certain note in it. Whatever that frequency is, that's the Antakarana. That's the entire rainbow bridge that created this universe. Okay? It's just one bar, one musical note. And it's the word of utterance of power that Melchizedek used to create our universe. And it exists, the imprint is in us, right? And when we are doing all of this spiritual practice and exercises to try to remember that frequency. And the moment we remember it, we become fully activated and Melchizedek's. And of course, our behavior have to change because we have to exist in righteousness. Because with great power comes great responsibility. We're going to have it connected to raw creative power, cosmic creative power, and with that comes incredible responsibility. And as giants, we're going to have to move gently. We cannot be quick to anger. We cannot react about so many things. We have to temper ourselves, because when you know you're big and you can shake things, you tend to be very gentle. Now, having said this, let us move now to an understanding of a multi-universal existence. I have said this before in all writing and more recent conversation I've had with you as well, that it's not just one universe that exists. There has been so far 84 physical manifestation or precursor, 83 precursor to our own universe. You can think of them as parents, parents, great parents, great grandparents, great grandparents, going all the way back, 84. I had channeled years ago, and scientists are telling us, for example, like the Big Bang, which is the beginning of our universe, happened 13.9 billion years ago. And I had said to students way back when I started teaching in 2007 and 2008, to my understanding, what the Melchizedek Cloister are telling me, the universe is over 900 billion years old. The various iteration, 900 billion. I said, we don't have the skill and the way to measure and to prove this, but I know what they're telling me is the truth. And let me explain. Our universe, according to what scientists all know now, because of the Webb telescope, this super fancy $10 billion telescope that they have in space now, that's taking these incredible pictures, and also showing them, because the way they measure scientifically the age of galaxies, it's because of the color of the galaxy. And they're discovering that on the edge of our universe, there exists galaxies that are much older than 13.9 billion years, but at least over another billion. And they are dumbfounded by this discovery, because if that is the case, that means that our universe sprung from a parent universe that is behind this one. And this is what a modern technology and this age of truth, authenticity, and transparency is showing, is that it's giving disclosure. It's allowing us to access information that was not there before. The best way I can put it, wisdom and knowledge exists in an infinite spectrum of knowing. And because of this, scientists are now postulating, because the theory, or Einstein theory of relativity, does not allow for a precursor universe or a parent universe. So scientists are now scrambling, because the math, and again, the Webb telescope is giving them all kind of information about the universe. A lot of the laws of physics and the math that they thought operated are not working out anymore, because they're discovering other things that are anomalies, and that are and there's so many anomalies, they have to theorize something else. So one of the things that leading scientists, or now theoretical physicists, are saying now is that our universe came from a gigantic black hole that existed in the previous universe. Okay, let me explain. So if a black hole is an object of infinite mass, the best way I can explain the concept of space-time, which is the merger of time and space together, is to explain it like this. If you have a trampoline and you put a marble on the trampoline, the marble will create a small dent. And then if you put other marble and you rotate the marble spinning around it, they will eventually, the dent will create a bend in the fabric of the trampoline, and that fabric a curvature will pull the other marble into its orbit and into the center. A marble will create, the satellite will move several times before they get to the center. But if you pull a bowling ball in the middle of it, it will go to the center immediately, because the gravity, the mass is much bigger. If we were trying to create a black hole with the mass that the Earth is, we would have to collapse the Earth into the size of a blueberry. So the way black holes are created, it's at the end of the life of a sun, typically. The sun either explodes into a neutron explosion and their energies disperse and creates other things, or they collapse into themselves. They collapse inside of themselves. and they become so dense and so heavy that they begin to drag all, like in a trampoline, all object immediately into the core. And in this instance, even the fabric, the trampoline itself, the fabric of time and space bends toward the black hole. So no light escape, no planet, no sun, everything that moves toward the black hole get what they call spaghettified, get stringed up, and time slows down when you're going toward the center of the black hole. So there is a line around the black hole called the event horizon. It's the point of no return. Anything that past that threshold cannot escape will have to go to the center. Right? And I'm trying to explain this in a way that you can understand that one aspect of the black hole is that nothing can escape it. It sounds like something terrible. You're going to be destroyed, blah, blah, blah. Every galaxy, by the way, has a black hole in its center. I just want to explain that to you, okay? Every galaxy. And a black hole and we have multiple of them in our own galaxy. It's not just one, there are multiple. And a black hole is not a death sentence, because a black hole also has, if you think of the space as being a membrane, a fabric, if there is a black hole on the other side of it, there is a white hole, because when it absorbs enough mass, let's say it begins to absorb everything, let's say in our galaxy, go inside this black hole. The black hole will eject on the back end of it what they call a white hole. The energy that all the stuff that it absorbed would be concentrated, and at the end it would begin to eject it. And as it ejected, it could begin to become a nursery, a opening that creates all kinds of things, all kinds of new life and new creation. It recombines everything into this primordial cosmic soup to create and manifest all kinds of things. In fact, we don't see directly from where we are in our solar system and where we're located in the Milky Way galaxy. We don't see this, we can't see directly the center Sagittarius B, which is where this black hole, the center of all the Milky Way, the core of the Milky Way galaxy is. We see it only, we get connected to that light only during the 3 days of darkness, when our solar system wobble. If this is the 100 light years thickness of the Milky Way, we wobble either up or down every 31 million years. And when that happens, we face the light at the core directly. So that creative pulse begins to hit us. And at which point it becomes accelerated evolutionary change. This is what we're expecting to happen at the moment of the galactic crossing. We were going to accelerate growth, evolution, very quick changing, transportation, or shift into higher dimension, permanent shift into higher dimension. Any questions, any comments so far? I've said a lot.
I couldn't help but think that as the black hole is perceived as a death spiral, perhaps, yet from it, on the other side of it, is creation. Yes. It is like resurrection for us. It is like death and rebirth in a sense, and it is a perfect parallel, as so many things in the macro and microcosm seem to be. I just wanted to...
Yes, Janice, you're totally right. As a matter of fact, time in a black hole has been described as slowing down. Everything slows down. What outside a black hole may be 100,000 of years to you might be 3 seconds. Everything slows down in there. And we are not sure if people get really spaghettified. It's just that we think that the physical part gets ripped apart and spaghettified, but consciousness does not necessarily. And by looking to X-rays, ultraviolet rays, and other kind of filters, because the center of the Milky Way galaxy is not visible to us. There are too many dust particles and cloud. But the center of the Milky Way is filled with light. around the black hole, there are thousands upon thousands, there are thousands of suns and new planets that are being ejected and created around that center. It's a womb. There are all kinds of things being created there. Although one characteristic of it is for it to grab everything, even the very fabric of space itself, but it also has the ability to create. And it's important because the model that we have for multiple universe now, think of a glass chalice, okay, where there is a stem upon which the chalice sits. One can think of our previous universe as having a gigantic black hole and ejecting a white hole or burst of light that started out as a dot, okay, or the stem of the glass, and then all of a sudden in nanosecond exploded out and ejecting all this material out. Scientists cannot explain how object in our universe, like the distance between us and other solar system, is the distance. We are moving away from all other stellar bodies at a constant speed called the Hubble constant. Okay, there's some glitch into that. It turns out the Hubble constant is not a constant after all, because now the telescope, the new Webb telescope, is proving that there is actually two different numbers. Anyway, I won't get into that detail. But I can tell you that we are moving away from each other. And that could have been caused by the initial ejection from this gigantic black hole. Right? But the Webb telescope and the shape of our universe is basically the body of the chalice. It's like a cup, and things are moving, inflating and moving away, okay? Moving that way and that way. And it's moving away. But with the Webb telescope that's so detailed, we're seeing what exists behind the shaft of the chalice. It's like as if we are looking through by the way, black holes are not perpetual. When they eject and their content are empty, they disappear. They don't remain for perpetuity. Okay? Now, having said all of this, I can add additional information. Sadhguru has a whole series on, I think I had emailed some of you some videos from him. And he talks about the fact that there were 84 previous physical manifestation of universes at an average of 13 billion years per universe, which is the age of our universe at this moment. You get to a number close to the 900 billion I was talking about in 2007. That has happened so far. So you can think of the black hole from which we emanated 13.9 billion years ago as being like the birth canal through which our universe came through. And as we expand and grow and all of that, everything in this universe exists. Our own galaxy and Andromeda and our neighboring galaxies exist in what is often called as a galaxy supercluster. It's like a gigantic vein. They look like, if you look at modeling of them, it looks like they are lightning bolt, okay? And these veins are all moving in all different directions toward a gigantic black opening that we scientists are not sure what it is. You can Google this, called the Great Attractor. To my understanding and the insight I'm getting from Melchizedek, it is the shaft of the glass, if we're using the glass model, and that shaft becomes a black hole that will then absorb all the material of this universe and recycle it through that into another universe. every universe has a different theme for manifestation. Remember, we talk about the musical bar, the note, the word. John chapter 1, in the beginning was the word, and the word was God. The word is the utterance of power, the Antakarana made vocalized by the Melchizedek or Melchizedek, like Gandalf on the breach of Khazad-dûm saying with his shaft in his hand, with his magical shaft in his hand, saying, "You shall not pass." The vocalization of an utterance, and that utterance by Melchizedek, boom, manifested our universe. The previous universes, the parent universe, the grandparent, the great-great-grandparents, all of them have different utterance. And by the way, the laws of physics in this other universe do not operate the same. Scientists are now postulating that in our universe, time moves forward. Like it's now 6:30. Things are moving forward. At 8 o'clock, I may end up doing something else. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to go to sleep at 11. I'm going to wake up to the next day. And all that. In the previous universe, time probably moved backward. So the laws of physics do not operate the same. By the way, the laws of physics, even in our own universe, of physical matter, how the physics operate, how molecule operate, what molecule did, what the subatomic particle did, do not operate the same. For example, there is a lot of qualities and stuff that existed in our early universe that we cannot find in this universe, in our aging universe right now. For example, dark matter or dark energies. They are exotic particles. This is why scientists had to create near Lucerne the Hadron accelerator, to try to recreate the condition of the early universe, to try to prove what mathematically should exist but we can't find. Because when the Big Bang was created, it was extremely hot. And the laws of physical realities operated completely differently. And as the universe cooled and started to age and early dust particles begin to recombine with each other, the laws of physics changed. So physical laws are not immutable. It depends on the universe. It depends also on the time in which you're trying to record information. There are lots of exotic particles that we know theoretically exist, but you can't hardly find. Like Higgs boson particle that was recreated in the accelerator was visible for not even a second, but it was enough for scientists to measure it and to know that it actually existed at some point in the early part of our creation of our universe. So this previous iteration have Melchizedek every time that there is an inflation and a spiritual detonation. There would be a Melchizedek that would utter a word of power, and they are not the same. And depending on the theme and the word, it would create different laws of physics and different ways in which that universe is going to operate. And when the universe begin to go to the great attractor and begin to feed into the next cycle of creation, that cycle and that move toward that cycle of creation is the universe ascending into a different version of itself. According to Sadhguru, there are 11 previous universes from our universe whose footprint still exists. Some sort of physical remnant of it. So you can think of it as you walking on the beach and leaving a footprint behind the sand. But beyond that point, the older universes that are part of the 84, the physical footprint have completely dissipated. You can't see them anymore. And he said the one that are the most visible are the last 4 universes. Any questions, any comments so far? how does that connect to the teachings I'm giving you? We talked about dimensional shifts that are vertical. And these dimensional shifts are connected also to the rod of Melchizedek and all that and so on and so forth. But all these dimensional shifts are still connected to our own universe. Years ago in 2008, at WESAC 2008, I presented to you through a channeling I had done the DNA reconstruction, which is available for the recording for which, original recording, live recording, is on the website for purchase. But that DNA reconstruction is a way in which we can regrow. We now have 2 physical strands of DNA, and we know that they are shadow strain. We're supposed to have 12 strands of DNA. Only 2 of them are physical that exist. The other ones are called shadow strain. So the idea is that DNA reconstruction, there are 12 collective, starting from God, the Cosmic Council of 12, the 24 elders in front of the throne of grace, and the 4th collective end up being the order of Melchizedek. And they came in, 12 of them, gifting from 12 separate and different universes. Remember, I said there were 11 other universes besides all one, the one that we exist in, that previous to us. Okay? And they came in at the bottom and shaft of each one of our 12 strands of DNA to utter the word of power that created their individual universes. And as the utterance occur, a major shift in us occurs. So what I'm trying to say, and this is what Sadhguru implies, and if you see the video, he kept saying the footprint is in us. We are the footprint. The footprint is in us. The footprint of these previous universes. And it literally exists in our DNA. Because each one of our strands of our DNA comes from a different universe. Every previous utterance of power from all the other previous Melchizedek exists in us. Because we have been recycled multiple times in these other universes up to the present. And their footprint still exists in us. Now, the one whose physical footprint we can't see anymore, you can think of them as footprint on the beach where the water comes in before you know it, the footprint completely dissipated and is gone. Or if you're walking on the sand, the wind comes in and after a while you can't see it anymore because time has elapsed too long. The sand will make the footprint disappear completely. But it doesn't mean it wasn't there. Sadhguru was saying something very interesting. He says, I live in the woods, sometimes I go meditation. He said, I can tell by seeing animal footprint if this animal is hunting, what kind of animal it is. He said, trackers, native people who are trackers, they can tell your intelligence by how you walk. So through the footprint that's in you, you can begin to interpolate a whole bunch of things about the previous universes. And the Melchizedeks and the powers and the energies that are in them. If you can listen close enough, if you're intuitive enough, you can begin to see and know a whole bunch of things. And if you read that, if you go back over the recording or if you read the transcript for it, you will realize that it talks about in the DNA reconstruction that 12, each Melchizedek was giving us the utterance of power. And I have done the meditation in a different ways. I listened to it for almost a year and a half. Then after that, what I did is I listened to each collective. I didn't listen to the recording anymore. By that time, I had remembered every word of it. And I would actually do the first collective alone, but a longer version for a half hour. And let whatever God was going to install in me be installed completely. Then the Cosmic Council of 12, let them install whatever they want to install for 30 minutes for like a month. Then the third, the 24 elders. And then the Melchizedek order and the utterance of power. what I can say to you is that it wasn't so much a word that I heard as much as it was like humming or almost like notes. That's the best way I can put it. Like toning, like frequency and vibration, like pitch. And it really dramatically changed something in me. I couldn't describe to you exactly what it was because I didn't have a point of reference to describe it. But it was not a human word, but something got installed. So as we move forward, we need to be very aware that we are not just dimensional being, multidimensional being. We are multi-universal. Zoom out even further. So in the rod of Melchizedek that exists in us, the celestial axis, that celestial axis is composed not only of the physical and energetic of Melchizedek and the courage theme of this universe, but all of the previous universes are in there too. And if you begin to understand the scope of that power, you will begin to understand and yourself, since you are now an agent for that energy, you will begin to understand yourself in a completely different level. Almost like an unstoppable force. And if you think of the petty little things that are happening in your life, minor little nuisance that are connected to people, health issues, relationships, and all of that are happening in your life, and if you can gather your mind around how big and how immense you and how long you have existed, you begin to understand why the ancients have said that time and space are illusions. Any questions, any comments?
Do you know, Pierre, if free will is attributed to each of the universes that you've spoken of? In other words, if we create our laws of nature, physical reality, based on our consciousness, our expectations, and we have free will to create that, do you know if the other universes are also operating in that same principle?
Free will comes with the kit in all universes.
Oh.
That doesn't change. Because all of us are co-creative partner with the original emptiness. There's a term in Hinduism for it. It's the mother of God. What's the name of it again? Oh, it will come back to me later on. I can't remember the name of it. It's the womb, the primordial womb through which everything gets created. Mm-hmm. In Tibetan Buddhism, they call it the primordial emptiness. It's not a vacuum. It's not a nihilistic void. It's actually filled with all kinds of endless material from which everything else gets created. It's raw, pure consciousness. Now, interestingly enough, Sadhguru talks about the fact that by the 112 manifestation of physical universes beyond that, 113 and 14, going beyond that, will no longer have any physical footprint. The cycle will continue, but it will not have physical footprint anymore. I may have shared with you that uh, uh, Lord Adonis, who is one of the member of a Galactic Region Council, which is the council in the Milky Way that oversees the governance and the running of the Milky Way, our Milky Way galaxy. He's not even from a universe. He came from the previous universe. As he was ascending, and his universe was going into a higher realm, because the whole point is create theater or environment in which consciousness can experience, and their knowledge and their collective knowledge, the brain trust of all of their knowledge can go back into the emptiness to expand the emptiness in awareness. And there will be 112 adoration to allow not necessarily yours and my consciousness, but other aspect of consciousness to manifest. Desires, unfulfilled potential that exists in the uncreated. That needs to have to play out physical existence, to learn certain things, and that entire universe, the entire collective of all the information that is gathered will then be added to infinity. This is why God is infinity times infinity. There are potential that are existing, and the potential are played out, and then the collective information is gathered and brought back. And then each one of us that are brought back into the uncreated have a potential to manifest another universe from our own personal experience. We can become Melchizedek ourselves and manifest another universe.
So we have probably existed in multiple universes since our creation.
Correct. Some of us may not have desired to return. It's because there's free choice. Some people want to return, like Lord Adonis, for example. He decided, I'm going to help you. And what he's good at is to help train ascended people to become logos. So, you know what? My soul inhabits my body right now. When I have mastered everything about my body and the physical existence of being a human, I can make the choice to inhabit and become the soul to a planet. That's what the logos is. The logos is the consciousness. Like Gaia is not Gaia, but Lord Buddha, the six Buddhas of activity, or the logos for Gaia is the physical environment, the womb, Shakti, whereas Lord Buddha becomes the soul that animates the planet. So conceivably, Lord Adonis was from a previous universe, and he made the choice. He said, I'm not going to go ascend and go to rest back in I could serve in the next universe. And he's been serving us for the past 13.8 billion years with all of the accumulated knowledge that he received from the previous adoration, the previous universe. Does that make any sense, Janice?
So I had to mute myself because of the sirens. It's mind-blowing, really. I mean, the scope of what we're speaking about, particularly Mother of God, is a concept I had never thought about.
Yes. Yeah, oh, it's driving me crazy. I could just, I remember, we did this with Ama Kurumai, she's the incarnation of the goddess of knowledge. And we did a special meditation in connection to her, and it was very powerful. They repeated 1,008 names of the Mother of God. It was a powerful, powerful mantra, like everything was waving in and out as I was sitting in that room.
You're right that it makes our concerns seem so less than petty, even on on the scope we're talking about.
And not only that, but you realize how small that you have made yourself to now make these small things come so important.
Yes.
If you understand that again, when, and I understand we have to do one thing. I'm giving you a big picture. I understand that we have to do things one at a time. Correct. So now we are trying to remember how to do the torsion field correctly, connecting to the higher chakras and bringing in the understanding of the complete Shushuma all the way back into the throne room of God. Shakti, the rising energy going up, and then Shiva going down, crisscrossing each other at every step of the way. Right? And every time we have 7 chakra, we have another dimensional, the understanding of another dimension. The other thing that happened with higher dimension, for example, 4th and 5th dimensional body, is that you're able to travel through things. Because if you exist in that dimension, that object in that dimension is no longer limited. If you exist in 2D, when you exist only in 2D and somebody is 3-dimensional, in 2D, borders that exist in things, you cannot go over them because you have to go around. If you're in a sheet and there's a circle, you won't see a circle. You will see as a 2-dimensional being because you don't have height. You don't see above it. You don't see that you can go around it. You have to navigate around the circle or around the shape to go on the other side. But the 4th-dimensional being doesn't need to, a 3-dimensional being doesn't need to do this. They know that they can go on the other side. They just jump over because they have height. So when we exist in higher dimension, space is navigated completely differently. The limitation of walls and boundaries are no longer an issue. You can bilocate and multilocate through you having mastered the understanding of what that dimension is. So as such, and this is why a lot of the saints, even Amak, Karuna Mai, there are lots of anecdotal stories about her, of more recent thing that she did when she was in Chicago doing an event there when they were celebrating the Day of the Guru. And she was walking and she had an umbrella above her and all of her devotees were there. And as she was walking, she stumbled. She like almost fell over. Anybody ran to her, Mom, are you okay? She said, I'm fine, I'm fine. One of my children called my name. One of my children called my name. And then she went back to finish the program. 2 hours later, somebody from India near one of her family members in India, in the ashram, called to say one of the devotees, people in the area who love Amma, was in a rice field, okay, and had a bag, a straw bag in the rice field, and tried to pick up the bag to go home by the end of the day. And a cobra had hidden inside the bag, and the cobra tried to bite this man. And the man pulled back and screamed, Amma, save me. At the exact moment, Amma knew. And not only did Amma know, the person claimed that he saw Amma grab the cobra by the head and throw it. She bilocated and she physically stumbled at that moment. And she said, "What?" And people said, Amma, are you okay? She bilocated. She said, one of my children called me. Now, Amma has a different mission than a lot of other Amma. She's not Amachi, the hanging saint. She's Amma Karuromai. She's the goddess. She's Sarasvati, the goddess of knowledge. She has a different mission than Amachi. Amachi is a different aspect of the Divine Mother. She's Kali. And she wants to see as many devotees, and she's hugging everybody. That Amma acts very differently. She doesn't want to have that information publicized too much. Because she doesn't want to have the big crowd of people who are running after miracle. She wants sincere students who want to truly learn. And what she's teaching, the path of ascension that she's teaching, it's the path of service. It's the savior. It's true service. It's prayer for the world. She gives a lot of homework, a lot of mantra, a lot of chanting.
There are two Amas? I'm confused.
Yes, there are
Oh.
multiple of them. I can think of 3 already. There is Amachi. Amachi is the hugging saint.
So these are different people.
Yes, different people.
Oh.
Amachi is the incarnation of Kali.
Mm-hmm.
Amakarurumai is the incarnation of Sarasvati, the goddess of knowledge,
Yeah.
music, and okay? And she's
So these two
different.
are not like the hugging Amma. They don't go around.
No, the hugging Amma is Amachi.
Yeah.
Okay? This Amma is different. She's light skinned. Oh, I have a picture of her. I can show it to you. That's her.
Oh wow. Mm.
She's very different. Okay? And she and then there is Mother Mara that's living in Germany. She's also an Amma. Amma means mother. It's the divine mother has multiple face, multiple name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there are lots of female ascended beings who have achieved such level of height that they are become the physical manifestation of these various faces of the divine mother.
Mm-hmm. And the one that bilocated is which one?
The one I took the picture of, I just showed you. Amma Karuna Mai.
Mm-hmm.
She's also in the south of India, but different region.
Got it. Nice.
When you see her, she's so small and she's a tiny woman. But I remember the first time I saw her at one moment, and you can tell when the goddess, the actual, Sarasvati comes in. All of a sudden, there was this huge energy shift, huge. And I'm like, oh my God. And then when you're looking at her,
in person?
Yes, she comes to New York. She's coming in August. She does tours around the US, and then the energy around her comes in and out, in and out.
Have you been to the other one, the hugging one?
Yes, I've been to her once.
And does she have that same big energy? Or?
Yes, she does have the big energy as well. And the funny thing about them, like if you go to Amachi first, they're usually the tours. Amachi comes first, and then she comes after. If you go to Amachi first, when you go to the other Ama, to Karuna Mai, she said, "Oh, you came to see me last week." She knows that you went to the other Amma, but because they're same, the divine mother, it's just different aspect.
That's so funny.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And they all give you a darsham, which is the blessing that they give you to help remove any obstacle, any resistance, anything that you have. People come in that are crippled, that have all kinds of problems, and she gives them blessings to remove the obstacles.
Both of them, I guess.
Yes. And the other Amma does the same thing too. Amachi, she gives you all the hug. The hug is the blessing, it's the darshan.
Oh, okay. She also hugs. Okay.
No. This one doesn't hug. She puts her hand on top of your head.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She does give you the darsham as well, but it's just she puts her hand in your head.
Nice.
People have broken down in tears as she's giving them the darsham, or fallen down. Any other questions or comments?
I'm not sure how to express this question, Pierre, but I'm trying to bring this home to me, to us. we are in a third dimensional reality. We are navigating, we have to function in the reality in which we exist, even though it is indeed petty compared to the grandiose, mind-blowing expansiveness of the fullness of all that is. Yet still, we cannot exist there. We are here, and we have to. What is the point? Are we trying to develop our consciousness, our spirituality to a point where we are more than the 3D beings that we are? What is our goal in all of this, I guess, is how do we bring that home?
Well, given the fact that in 2 years, 2027 Wesak is going to be a blue moon Wesak, 2 full moon in that lunar month, double whammy of energy, and right after that, the galactic equator crossing, which probably will be 2030, or around that time. In a short span, we have to change to become the anchor of the rod of Melchizedek. That's the point. The point is to try to remember how big we really are. We're still going to function in 3D. We're still going to exist in 3D because we are the grounding rod or the anchor through which the celestial energy, because the shift that's about to happen of us popping up across the 31 million year cycle to face the light of the galactic core directly, that shift is going to require individuals that remembers who they are, to help ground that energy and guide the rest of humanity into the new earth. Otherwise, many people are going to be lost. The harvest, as they call it, every time these wobbles happen up and down, the galactic equator, the galactic regional council called this period the harvest. The harvest will be poor if we do not awake and remember who we are. We're still existing here, but we're going to translate. We become the transducer that will take this high frequency energy and help the rest of humanity understand it. And then guide them into making the right choice by entrainment, by sending a proper frequency out. I understand what you're saying because right now it's so highfalutin that you're trying to figure out how do I connect. It connects to you. How it connects to you is that if you can remember who you are, in terms of the scale, just remember, just doing the torsion field alone, the way we talked about doing the torsion field now. If you can remember how to do this and you're doing it, it's going to shift and banish from you and your life a whole bunch of things that are connected to your own karma that you've been struggling with for years. They will be removed from you. They're going to dissipate. They're going to step in the background.
Are you doing what? Sorry, I missed that part.
I said, if you can remember who you are, as you do the torsion field correctly, it's going to dissipate and remove from you karma, personal karma, and collective karma that are things that are creating all kind of resistance and difficulty for you, so that you don't achieve your full remembrance of your nature.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to exist in 3D, but you will exist in a better existence, and it was going to banish stuff for you that are resistant, that were difficult for you. It's going to banish, and as all of that step in the background, you're going to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
The part that strikes me most, it's not just for me, but it's a service.
Yes.
For others that this effort
Yes.
Will benefit.
As a matter of fact, I think I may have mentioned this in previous class. Past the 8th level of initiation, the beginning of ascension is 12th level initiation. Past the 8th level of initiation, with most of you around that area now, You're moving rapidly because things are accelerating. Karma is accelerating, and we're moving closer and closer because you're doing such hard work. You're getting closer and closer to your 12th level initiation. Past 8th level, you cannot ascend unless you're serving, unless you're sharing your insight, your liberation with someone else. You cannot move forward any further. Because you're beginning to realize that separation is an illusion, that the outside and everything else that's happening in you exists in you as well. While we are on karma, I want to mention for a moment a couple of things here. We talked weeks ago about the idea of an ancestral curse and family karma, and the idea that once you have corrected or repair the karma correctly, you can begin to heal your ancestral line. There is a specific way in which this happened, and I want to talk about this for a moment. I want to slow everything down slightly to give us an opportunity to understand how it happened, because it's not magic. That entrainment happened in a very specific way. Let's say, for example, the issue you were dealing with was abuse from men, or victimization, or poverty consciousness, or in my case, what I did is that I, because of my father abusing my mother in front of me when I was 4 years old, I realized the reason my mom had nowhere, and all of us as children, we didn't have anywhere else to go. We had to stay with him and stay with the abuse. I decided I will not allow myself to receive from him. And I thought it was from him. And the next thing it proposed to me as a survival mechanism, I'm going to shut down. I don't want to receive anything from anyone. I'm going to shut everything down. And for me to compensate for this, I kept now to give compulsively, almost like an addiction. And it served me for the period of time I was around my dad. But having done so, I've been doing this for all of my life. And I'm at a point now where I can't, it's draining me painfully, that I won't allow myself to receive, and I keep giving all the time, and I keep draining myself over and over and over again. And I have to stop this because it's now a huge negative program. So what I'm doing now, and I want to mention this to you because it's extremely important. We talked about the personal power program and doing it with Master Dwal Cole, asking him to anchor into us the core fear metrics removal programming, and to remove from us all misqualifying and unbalanced energies. What I'm doing now is that I'm asking him to remove all program, sub-programming related program, because that thing, that column of pushing, not receiving, and then giving compulsively has grown multiple roots. They're tentacles. So I want all program, sub-program, and related program connected to this. I want Master Dwakul, as I'm sleeping at night, to remove all of them, the entire complex of receiving from the God and the universe or from anyone else, and also not giving compulsively. I'm asking him to dismantle this entire system and to do this continuously for the entire night. When I wake up in the morning, I ask for the Mahatma Lord Melchizedek to run its platinum net through me and to remove all misqualifying unbalanced energies. And then Archangel Michael create a golden bubble of light around my consciousness, around the subconscious mind, so that subconscious content or backdoor or not allowed to activate unless it goes through the field of Archangel Michael. And also all ancestral things and traumas, create another field of Archangel Michael around them. And finally, during the day, as I wake up and have my coffee, I then do another prayer. I ask Dracul to come back. And this time, instead of doing the core fear matrix removal programming at night, specifically related to that complex of blocking, receiving, and giving compulsively, now dismantle this for the entire rest of the day for me. Continuously. I'm going to do the personal power program continuously until 2027 Blue Moon Reset, personally, because I know how much better I feel when I do it. There are too many things. The veil are too thin. There are too many other energies, and as an empath, I am bombarded by all kinds of thoughts. If I'm not doing this, I don't have the clarity anymore. Now, you all have core issues that you're dealing with that seems too big for you to deal with, that are causing all kind of difficulties for you, struggles, whether it's health related, whether it is an ancient abuse, whether it is whatever it may be. You can ask Master Dwakul to anchor into, to dismantle that specific thing that you're struggling with that seems so big and so immense. To do it not only at night, but also repeat it during the day for him to do it continuously until you begin to be able to breathe correctly, to restore balance and equilibrium in you. You have far better things to do than to be disempowered by stupidity, by, false belief, by survival mechanism. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I started doing the personal power program. It's pretty awesome. I do it also morning and evening. And I also was doing it automatically in the morning as well.
Yes.
Dwakul core fear removal programming.
And again, but the idea is that if once you do it for 21 days, things will flow up in the background, and then something will be left that seems almost insurmountable. Focus on that one and let Dracul dismantle it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it will happen much faster when you focus it like this. Because when you ask Dracul to do core fear metrics removal programming to remove all core fear that are trying to remove your personal power, it's a broad spectrum removal. It's like taking a medicine that's very broad spectrum. This one will target exactly what you need to remove.
The daytime one, you're saying?
Both the daytime and the nighttime. Have it target. If you know what the core issue is, you can have it targeted.
Mm.
Now, having said this, once you have overcome all of this, you're now empowered, you're aligned and everything else, that lesson learned, the correction being made, you're going to send an entrainment frequency back to your ancestors that may have faced similar things. Wherever they are incarnated in the future life, in their own lives or in another dimension of reality or wherever they may be, you're going to send a frequency back to them because you're entangled with them. And you share DNA with them, they're going to know something is different. Now, it's not automatic that they're going to learn and that stuff is going to be erased from them. They will receive the vibration and the frequency, but they still have free will. And they can choose to accept it and then train in it and realize there is a better way for me to handle the situation instead of reacting the way I reacted for the past 3 or 4 lifetimes. I can do something different, or they can decide, well, I need to experience more difficulty for a moment before I can accept this. It will be their choice to make. So entrainment is not automatic. Entrainment is a broadcast. The same way when we are in alignment with the work, the guidance we're supposed to provide for humanity, humanity is not going to automatically, just because we're saying it and we're broadcasting the frequency, they're not just going to come in and say automatically, I'm acquiescent and I'll just accept it. They have free will. Some people will agree, other people will simply be stubborn and say, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to do something different. And they have the right to do so. Because everybody has free choice. It comes as part of us being conscious co-creator with God. We have free will. And if we decide we want to suffer today more, and we want to take the long path instead of a shortcut, it's okay for us to take the long path. So remember this not only in terms of your own group body, and your ancestors and everything else, and the karma you're sharing with them, but also in terms of the rest of the humanity as well. There are moments and there are times where some aspects of humanity will decide, I'm gonna go to a different parallel reality. I don't want to deal with this. I'm gonna do something else. And it's perfectly acceptable for somebody to make that choice. If you're too attached to outcome and you want everybody to get it, and you're upset because other people are not accepting it, it shows that you don't have enough spiritual maturity. Because if you had enough spiritual maturity, you would realize that if they don't accept it, it's perfectly okay. It's their karma. They will learn it eventually. God will reach them at the proper time. I'm walking away. I'm not going to waste my energy. Be aware of this, that when you're sending the broadcast, it doesn't mean everybody will automatically obey and acquiesce. It may take some time because we all grow differently. We learn very differently. Certain people, depending on their sign and whatever configuration and what they're struggling with and the level of shame that they're holding, some people will want, because it would be too easy for them to accept it automatically, they want to suffer a little bit more to remove more shame. And it's okay. It's all right. Any other questions or comments? The last thing I want to say before we pause and take a brief break before we do a closing meditation is that I want to talk very quickly about who the collectives are that we're calling during the Personal Power Program. Master Dwakul, Master Kuthumi, and Master El Moria were the three wise men in past lives. They were incarnated multiple times together, and they were actually alive, all three of them, around the time of Madame Blavatsky, and Master Kuthumi and Master El Moria were actually in London, and Madame Blavatsky actually physically met them. Dwakul, on the other hand, she had to travel into Tibet, to India, to actually see him because he's a Buddhist monk. Master Dwakul is the head of the Synthesis Ashram in the second ray. He is the most accessible ascended master that you can connect with. He's extremely kind, generous, and understanding. Master El Moria is a disciplinarian. He's very black and white and very authoritarian. Each one of them have their own character. Master Dwakul created the core field metrics removal programming because he has a holographic computer that connects to the soul of 8 billion people on Earth, and through which he's able at any moment to see where you are and to extract. He created this technology, and it is his way of doing service. for him to achieve his solar and galactic initiation, that he created this technology as a way to serve humanity. So you cannot, if you think that you're calling him too much, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's his way of evolving into his next initiation. And him and all of the initiate of the synthesis ashram, including my teacher, Dr. Stone, belongs to that ashram. So him and all of them are in there doing this kind of work to try to extract from us what doesn't belong, to help us, assist us on our further evolution and growth. The Mahatma is a collective of all souls who have achieved Christ or enlightenment in our entire universe. It's a group body. It's a gigantic group body. Lord Melchizedek, we know about already, and Archangel Metatron, who is the other member of the 3M, used to be Enoch, and he's the archangels to the archangels. And he is the scribe of God. And their technology is to create a light platinum net, like a fisherman net, to run through all of our bodies and to remove all the negative stuff out. And when they take it back into light, it's transformed, it's recycled. It's recycled. It's transformed into cosmic dust and recycled into something else. Any other questions or comments? All right, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll do a closing meditation. 5 minutes. Here is the name of the Divine Mother. I just remembered. I knew it was going to come to me. Lalita, the womb of the Mother of God. Lalita. Okay? I knew it was going to come to me. They did a 1008 name of Lalita. That's her name.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you noticed. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. Lord, elevate me from the fears and triggers connected to surviving and help me cultivate your 144 celestial and divine virtues. Let my awareness expand into that rich tapestry and space of higher feelings and emotions. May I know what you know, see what you see, and feel what you feel. I surrender my entire consciousness and let go of all my fears, pain, suffering, and burden into a power that is immensely bigger, richer, and nuanced than me. I humbly surrender all control. For the vast continents is the driver and the source of all repairs, salvation, and redemption. Let an endless cascade of benevolence, goodness, and blessings pour down upon me, and remove all separation, fears, and fragmentation from all aspects of my life. Lord, I ask you to take over and guide all parts of my life. And may your blessings fall upon me in the most miraculous, instantaneous, and unexpected ways. May I be freed from all pain and suffering. Take me into the blessed field and let me prosper in your protection, embrace, and love. May your light shine through me unto others. May the endless blessings and perpetual renewal and unceasing repairs that you provide me pass to everyone in my circle of influence. Let this blessing reach humanity in every corner of the earth, the mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom, and to the roots of Gaia. Let your light, power, and dominion return back to earth. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate bodhisattva. 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 Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you.
You're welcome, Janice. You're welcome. I want to thank all of you for listening tonight, and I know it was quite advanced what we covered today. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you next week. Blessings, everyone. Love you. Thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Love you all.